Okay, this is part 17. Um, Man, I have had so many problems today trying to get this video out. It's just amazing. But anyway, I will get this out. Anyway, Yeshua took me over back to, okay, he showed me all, being delivered up, what was expected of me, what the unforgivable sin was, which is not allowing the Holy Spirit to speak through you when you are delivered up. Okay, so now he took me back over to the garden by the house, and he said, I want you to look around. So I looked around. He said, what do you see? And I said, nothing's going to be the same. After the earthquake, after the storm and earthquake, everything changes. It's nothing will ever come back. And I want you to know that no matter what, the Civil War, everything, people will think that they can bring back what they had lost, the freedoms and stuff, but the new world order will prevail. It's written. Anyway, so, we still have time, and I'd say don't give up, but that's what it is. And we have the millennium to look forward to as to our freedom and what good rulership is and what it should be, not what we see now. This is totally a takeover, a Babylonian type system with everything that, especially our education, with everything put into place now. And I feel sorry for kids and stuff having to go through public schools now. It's just, anyway. So I had seen that nothing had changed. That everything had changed at the earthquake. It just, everything had changed. And he said, okay, so then under the cherry trees, he pulled up 2 scrolls. One was a really big one, and it was this kind of floating, and it was turning around like this, and written on the scroll in big capital letters was tribulation, 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 over and over on both sides. Then he pulled up a little one next to it, and the same thing was written on it. And there was an angel that came with Yeshua other than Lurch. And he came over and he handed me the scroll, and he said, the little scroll, and he said, now eat it, and it'll taste like honey, but it'll make your stomach really sick. So I didn't want to eat it, but I ate it, and it did make me feel sick. And what that is Jacob's trouble, the 10-day personal tribulation, or up to 10 days when you're delivered up. So the big tribulation is Satan's tribulation, because this is his last chance to set up his kingdom, the Babylonian system. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time today. I've been up early. Anyway, so I've already talked about that system, but it's got the 4 dynasties, the 4 hidden dynasties, which is education, political, economical, and then religion. And this ties the whole world together. So this is his last chance, and plus everybody will still be in flesh, so he'll be able to fool a lot of people. Anyway, then he took me over in front of the house, and he said, you know, you don't get an inheritance. I'm like, what? And he said, look around. And I did. He said, because everything is your inheritance. And I got a little butthurt because I didn't understand that, because there was my dad's house, and me being adopted and everything, I thought it was because that I was adopted, but that wasn't the reason. It's because I'm telling you about the 7,000 very elect. Their inheritance is God. Everything of God's is yours. And they aren't really given an allotment. So that's what he was talking about. Then Lurch came around, and it was about time for Yeshua to leave. And I didn't want him to leave, but he said that, you know, I had to get back into my body, and that time was running short. So he started walking to over past the driveway onto the side of the house where the garden and all the cherry trees were. And I kind of ran over because I was like, so, like, I just didn't want him to leave. And I saw him and the angel that came with him. They were getting into what looked like a crown. And it had like the doors on the side and a seat. And they both sat by each other and closed the doors, and he looks like he's like looking at something. I didn't see like inside of it. I was just watching. And it had like the ring around was like for the crown area, and then over the top was the top part, right? And it had windows where they could see, and it started like moving up like that, and then from underneath it came these wheels, and this is very strange. They were both round. I think there was like 2 of them, maybe 3, but they came around and were like going like this around the crown. And the faster they went, and it really speeded up, kind of lifted off a little bit more, the faster it went around the crown, the brighter the light. And it became so bright that I wasn't able to see Yeshua and the angel. It's just like kept going faster and faster, and then it lifted up and off and just kind of disappeared. So I was really sad, and Lurch said, come on, let's go. You know, you got to go back to the bedroom. I'm okay. And he looked down at us and he said, you know, one of you is not going to make it to the good side. And he looked at me. It might be both of you, unless, you know, you need to really study. Otherwise, you might not make it either. And I'm like, so that kind of put the fear of God in me even more. And we went up to my room and we sat on the couch that we had in there. And we just started talking. Candy, my sister, had her angel. Okay, so we're on the couch and there was Lurch on the end. And there was me. Then there was Candy, and then there was her angel. And I was talking to Lurch, and Candy wanted to trade. And I was like, well, I don't think we can trade, but you can talk to him. And so we kind of switched a little bit, and I don't know what I was telling you about. Her angel was just, it just kept changing, and I just told him, people would like you more if you would just stop, you know, and stop changing and let people just really look at you. And he's like, I can't. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. And I looked at Candy, I said, look, we got to change back. Because after seeing all that, I was tired and cranky. And then, so we switched back. And Lurch asked me, what is the best thing that you like in your life right now? And I was like thinking about it, going, so I said, I really like chocolate and ice cream. And he's like, oh. And I asked him then if he knew what it was. And he didn't really know what it was, but he knew food. And he was just really interested, like, in my life. And it was really kind of sad because we knew we were kind of saying goodbye. Well, at that time, as we were talking, suddenly the three boys came into the room and they were going to do their morning adventure and rape and molest us. Well, they came in and our bodies were bubbled so that they were invisible. And the boys came in and they were like looking all around in the bed, underneath the bed, around the furniture. They left. They looked through all the house. They looked everywhere. And then they'd come back up and see if we were hiding in the closet. And it was just really weird. And Lurch saw that, and I could see how angry and upset he was. And I asked, I said, why? Why is this happening? And he said, because people have free will. You know, God is not a dictator. And people are people. You know, if they have these evil thoughts and everything like that, then that's how they're going to be. So it was like, okay, they left, and he was like now kind of pushing us because he was afraid because people were getting up now. And so he took out this, like, I guess it was like silver, like a silver cup, and it was wine, and he told us to drink the wine. And then he took out like these wafers, And he gave me like a ton of them, and he said, you can eat them all because you're gonna need it. I wish I would have like eaten them all, but I did not want to go back in my body. And I'm like, he's like, eat it, and go back into your body. And I'm like, okay. So Lurch changed. It was so weird because I was about ready to get into my body, and I looked, and he was like half in the wall and half out of the wall. And he had changed. He was not in his white gown, but he was like in a warrior outfit. And he said that he had like business to do. So he was out warring and protecting people. So that was just really weird. So I went ahead and got into my body, and how I did it was I just kind of laid down into it, and my body kind of just absorbed my spirit, and my body felt, oh, my spirit felt really loose, like, what is this, like it didn't quite fit. And I guess I was all the way in, and then I turned around to see my sister, and she had already gotten up, and she was looking outside the window. And so I got up and I looked out. The sun was just rising, and I was looking at it, and I could see like that, the dust that I saw, like the Days of Darkness, video 9, that ash lightly falling down. And I looked at Candy, and she's like, wow, this is so weird. And I'm like, yeah. And we both said this at the same time. We can't step on the grass. Because remember when I told you when we first came into paradise, walked in, and I stepped on the grass? So we had a weird time adjusting. Somebody had thrown up by their bed, and for some reason there was just a whole bunch of people in our room. Like the boys came in, and one of them said, someone threw up, and I remember my sister said, it was you, the oldest one. And we were supposed to go to church that day, and they figured that we were sick. I wanted to tell people right then and there, but I just had a feeling that I shouldn't. And my sister Candy, she really, really wanted to tell somebody. She was just so excited about it. And I told her, you better not. Well, my dad came in. He wasn't really my dad at the time. It was more like we were still in foster care. But she started telling him, and I'm like going, don't do it. Don't. And he just started belittling her, just saying really mean stuff. And she started crying, and I just said, anyway, so she learned at that time that there is a time and a place. And I knew that definitely that when after I studied and learned more, that I would be able to get it out. But before then, I did tell a lot of people, but I didn't just, people like friends. And anyway, so that was it. I'm sure that there's more. because I always think, oh, yeah, I forgot that. Which now I'm remembering, yeah, I think I told you about, that Yeshua said, I'm not mad at you, I'm mad at them, and then took us to the top of a mountain where it's, a meadow and, rocks and trees and water, and it's beautiful. And we can see what's going on down below with the Satan's crowd and people that will be like following him. So I think I did see that. So anyway, I will start with next one, Revelation chapter 11 on the two witnesses, and also I'm getting like a lot of questions about the 7,000 and the 144,000. I did a video on that, and so you can look back, and it's about its title like the 144,000. So there is the difference. It goes into the millennium so that you can see why I basically was saying that they're sealed, but they don't have the entire truth. They won't have the entire truth until the very elect speak, and then their eyes are opened. So, but what I think I'm going to do is I will make just a study on the 7,000 and document it so that, you don't think I'm just making this up, because I'm not. Anyway, talk to you soon.